Hello and welcome to another MySQL tutorial. So as you see right here, I've made a new table in my MySQL DB1 database, and the table looks like so. So here is the structure. What I'm going to ask of you is to go ahead and make the same exact table, and here is the structure just so you know how to make it exact. Now let's go ahead and try to write some code in the SQL PHP MyAdmin area. So what we're going to write right here is I'm going to delete this part. So we're keeping select everything from, and we're going to write products like so, and we're going to write where type equals and office. Let's go ahead and click on go, and we're going to get two values from our query. Now let's say we only want pen to be displayed. What we're going to do is we're going to go back to our SQL area, and we're going to get this right here back, and we're going to use and to add in the name, which is pen. Now if I go ahead and click on go, I'm only going to get my pen value. Now what we're going to do is we're going to keep both, and through PHP, so with PHP let's go ahead and try to get this sentence displayed. So we're going to go ahead and open up our PHP file, which I've created in htdocs in a MySQL 3 folder, and this is just our old data that we made in one of our last lessons, and I've just commented on this code so far. Now let's try and get to our database in the most correct way, let's say. And so as we know, this is the way to get to a database. So let's just try and save this and refresh, and when we do that we get correct entry. So we've basically correctly joined the database. Now what we're going to do is in our folder we're going to create another folder with the con1.php file. We're going to open it with Notepad, and we're going to cut the database code out of here and paste it into here. First of all, let's just quickly type in our PHP code like so. And in our website's every file, let's put a require. So let's go ahead and type in, and inside of these quotation marks, I'm going to write my folder name and my con1 PHP file, just like so. This basically means that all our files, to be exact, that have the permission to join the database will automatically just be joined. And if we were to refresh once more, we'll see that we still have correct entry as the database is still joined correctly with our files. Now let's go ahead and continue with our code. Let's delete these comment signs, and in our SQ11 variable, let's put the code that we put in our PHP MyAdmin. Let's get rid of the statements, and let's go ahead and type in our echo, and let's write our value variable, which is the amount of rows that the query gives back to us, if that makes sense. So if you remember here when we wrote this, we got pen through type and name, so it was very specific. We only got one row. So if I go ahead and save this, refresh, we will get correct entry 1 as there is only one row. We can comment on correct entry, and if right here I was to get rid of the and name pen, and if we refresh, I'm going to get the number 2. If we want to know which of the lines these are, we need to do this through the while loop. So let's say we were to make a line variable, which will equal, and we're going to write right here MySQL I fetch ASSOC, which is associative, and then inside we're going to put our result. Now with this, we've made it into a associative array, and we need to write the values. So we're going to write echo, we're going to write our line variable, and then in square brackets we're going to put, let's say, the name, which is what we want to be seen, which is what we want to see. Save, refresh. I'm going to get pen. If I was to delete this once more, and if we were to save, I'll get pen book, as it's not as specific as the name as well, so it is pen and book. And if we go ahead and add in a BR tag right here, we're going to see it like this, and if we view page source, this is going to be the code. Now let's say we want all of the values from the name section with TV, pen or notebook. We need to write a different code for this, which is suitable to get what we want. So to actually get this to work, what we're going to do is we're first of all going to get rid of this. We're going to write TV instead, and then we're going to type in a or, and then name with pen this time around, and I put the quotation marks wrong like this, and we need the last one for our notebook, like so. Now besides displaying their names, let's also go ahead and display their price. So we're going to do this right here. We're going to put line, and right here I'm going to put price like so, and then a dot with my BR. And yeah, this is the right code. Now let's save this, let's refresh. I'm going to get pen with 10 and notebook with 1500. And as we see, I don't have TV right now. This is because I typed it with type. So we need to put name, and now if we save and refresh, I'll get TV 700, pen 10, and notebook 1500, which are their prices along with the names. Another easier way that we can write the same exact sentence is through writing name and then in brackets with quotation marks list what we want displayed. So TV, pen and notebook. And we see the same result. It's the same thing, just an easier version. We can do the same exact thing with IDs. It doesn't have to be names. And right here, the IDs for TV, pen and notebook are 1, 2 and 4. So and the IDs here are 1, 2 and 4 for whatever we want. And what we're going to do is, instead of name, we're going to put ID, and then right here we're going to get rid of all of this, and we're just simply going to type in 1, 2 and 3. Now if we go ahead and save and refresh, I'm still going to get my TV, my pen and my book. And this should actually be 4 because I want notebook, and here we are. Let's move on to the next query. Let's add some new values. So for example, let's add in a printer right here. We're going to give this a 4, and then office and 400. Now we can add another one right here as well. ID is done automatically, so let's put, for example, A4 paper. let's put 3000 as the quantity, and then let's put it as a office type, and for the price let's put it as 15. Click on go, and we see that we have inserted 2 more rows, so the inserted row ID is now 6. Now if we go to browse right here, we'll see our 2 more additional values, so printer and A4 paper, and they've been given their IDs correctly, 5 and 6, and the price is correct, type is correct, quantity is correct, just as we set them. For example, let's now select the options which have the type office and are in the price range of, let's say, 0 to 200, for example. So to do this, what we're going to type in, we're going to get rid of this part. We're going to type in our type. Inside, I'm going to put office, so we want it from the office types, and then through and I'm going to write price, like so, bigger than 10, and price smaller than 200, just like so. So this means that our SQL query will bring us everything from the type office, and which have the price of bigger than 10 and smaller than 200. Let's try saving and refreshing. I'm going to get book 100 and A4 paper 15. So let's go ahead and check this. In the types with office, there is only, so A4 paper and our book are the only ones which have a higher value than 10 and are lower than 200. So as we see right here, pen's value, so price value, is 10. However, it takes the number right after, so it's from 11 to 199. So there is actually a way to fix this, and what we're going to do is we're going to put an equal sign right here. Now if I save and refresh, I'll also get pen. And instead of writing this code right here, what we can do is we can get rid of it, and instead, using the MySQL price between, which is written in capitals, we're going to put 10 and 200. Now if I save, refresh, I'm still going to get the same values. Now let's say we want to make it a little bit higher, let's say to 700, will be added there. There'll be printer added as the value of it was higher than 200, and now as we've set the value to 700, it will be displayed. Now what we can also do is we can set the order through an SQL order, so order by, and let's say we want name. So this is self-explanatory, it's basically in alphabetical order, as we see right here, A, then B, then the both P's. We can do the same thing in reverse, which is DESC, which stands for descending. Now as we see, it is reversed, so it's descending. It goes from the lower alphabetical letters to the first alphabetical letters, if that makes sense. Now let's try and get everything from our product. So what we do is we use MySQL's comment, which is just 2 dashes. Now if I save, refresh, I will get an error. So this is because we need to have spaces from both the front and the end. Now if I save and refresh, I will get every single thing from my list. So it only shows us this side, and the things after our 2 dashes just won't be shown at all, which means that we've basically commented on them. And if we want to see it a little bit better, let's cut this out of here and paste it here. Now if I save and refresh, it will be in alphabetical order, however it is actually reversed because of our descending. And if instead of DESC we add in ASC, which is ascending, we will get it in proper alphabetical order. So you can just not write ASC at all, it is in alphabetical order anyway. So ascending is basically the default value. For example, we can also order them by price from biggest to smallest. So it is simple. Instead of writing order by name, we put order by price. Now let's save this, let's refresh. We see that it's from lowest to highest. To get it reversed, what we do is we put DESC. Now save, refresh. We see it's now from highest to lowest. Now let's go ahead and add in another product. So this is going to be a pen once more. However, it will be differentiated from the first pen through its price. Here we are. Let's click on go and now browse, and we have this pen which is worth 1,000. If we want all the products that have the name pen to be displayed, so for this we need to use the where part, and I need to tell you that it needs to be put before order. If it's put somewhere after order by, it will just not work. Your code will not work. So I need to put a where right here and then name, and I'm going to select the pen. If I save this, if we refresh, I will get both of the pens that have different prices. If we only want the names, what we need to do is we need to comment right here. We need to put a semicolon right here, and if I save, I'm just going to get my pens without their prices. Now if we don't want any of the repeated words to be shown, instead of this asterisk, what we do is we put the distinct method, let's call it, and name. Now if I save and refresh, it will only be shown once, as it just gets rid of all of the repeated names. Now what we can also do is right here, we can just put type, and we're gonna keep it as from product. Now let's cut this out of here and paste it here. So we've commented on the rest of the code, we don't need anything else. And let's change this name right here to type. Also we can add a BR, just like so. Now if we go ahead, save, refresh, I'm just going to get my values from the type section. So from right here, and it is in order, just like it is on my table. However, as you see, we have office a couple times, just like it is right here. However, we don't need it. We only want to see what types of products there are. So what we do is we put distinct and we put type in brackets like so. Now what we're gonna see is that we get electronics, office, and computers. So these are the types from our database that will be shown. We don't want the repeated words, as that will just be very confusing. Now let's go ahead and change up our code a little. Now let's get all of this displayed in an HTML table. So we're going to put echo, and inside we're going to put our table tag, and then in our loop we're going to first of all get rid of this. And to make it a little bit easier for you, what I've done first of all is in an echo I've displayed a table tag with the border attribute of 2, and then in my while loop what I've done is I've echoed a tr and a td tag to start off. Then I have my name with my line variable, then comes quantity, then it is type, and then price, just like we have it in our PHP My Admin. And then the TDs are right here, opening and closing after each one, and then the TR closes at the very end. After my closing curly brace of while, I echo the closing table tag. Then when I save and refresh, I get my table, which looks the exact same. It's just an HTML table through PHP. So that was all that I had prepared for today's lesson. Thank you so much for watching.